All right, going on, everybody? Big Cop Diesel coming at you. It's been a minute since I've did any videos. I actually just a minute ago did the first video that I've done in about 5 months, kind of since I made the announcement that I'm back in the security field. So as you see, I'm wearing a big old security shirt. Now, mind you, I don't wear this at work because I have a regular uniform. I just bought this for the purpose of the videos. And I think I wore it to the gym once or twice at 3 o'clock in the morning when nobody was in there. But other than that, so the title of this video is So You Want to Be a Security Guard. And so I'm going to kind of give you my take on it. Now, mind you, my experience is limited to the state of Michigan and what I know about being a security guard here. The things that I'm saying, if you have questions about it, you can ask me, but I can tell you right now, I have no clue what they do in other states. The laws are different in every state. In fact, while perusing security guard openings in other states, I notice a lot of states have certain cards and licenses and all this kind of stuff. I don't know what that entails. So if you have questions, it behooves you to check with your state and local laws to see what the requirements are. All right, so you want to be a security guard. Well, in the state of Michigan, to be a security guard, it's really not that hard. You can have no felonies. You got to be 18 years old and basically willing to work. So they'll just give you a shirt and they'll put you at a mall or a construction site or something like that. Now, there are different types of security guards, and what determines what type of security guard you are basically depends on the kind of accounts you're going to work. So you have your basic security guard that's going to make kind of the minimum amount of money. They don't really expect a whole lot out of you. They just kind of want you to show up, wear your shirt, and you're there as a visual deterrent. Now, depending on the company you work for, that may be it, meaning, okay, you're at a construction site, you got to make a round every hour, make sure nobody's stealing tools and stuff at night. Somebody shows up and steals tools, they don't even really want you to do anything other than call the police. Call your supervisor, call the police, give a description. They don't want you to intervene in any way, shape, or form. Just kind of do your best to get a description of the person, what they were wearing, what kind of vehicle they were driving, and kind of what they took. And that's pretty much it. And again, it's all based on what the client wants, what the client is paying for. And it also depends on the company. Every company's use of force policy is a little bit different. Again, some companies just kind of want you there for window dressing, I call it. You're there to you know, um, look like you're in a position of authority, hoping that somebody sees you and says, okay, there's a security guard, I'm not going to do anything. And hopefully that's what happens. And if something does happen, your job is basically to just report. And then there are some accounts and some clients that want, you know, uh, different types of response. So, for instance, where I work at, I'm armed and active shooter, for instance. A lot of security companies will have you follow the same doctrine that they give to people in the workplace. If you know there's an active shooter, the mantra is run, hide, fight. Run away, help people run away, hide if you can't, if it's not safe to do so, and fight only as a last resort. Okay, and that's what a lot of companies are telling their employees to do. So a lot of security companies are following along that same kind of logic. Now, where I'm at, um, our mandate's different. We do have unarmed people. That's their mandate: run, hide, fight. I'm armed. My crew is armed. And so our mandate is if there's an active shooter, our job is to stop the shooting. So I don't have a problem with that. If you work at a place that has that mandate and you do have a problem with it, you need to make sure somebody knows, and maybe you need to work at a different place or in a different position. So again, that's based on what the client expects, what they're paying for, and also what your company's policy is. So normally you wouldn't have a company whose policy for their guards is to run, hide, and fight, are not even going to take the type of account where the client wants them to have armed people to respond. So you got kind of your mall cop kind of guys. You got a step up, which is kind of where I fall in. I'm just a step up. I carry a gun, all that. Um, well, I guess I'm two steps up because we have arrest power at our place. And I'll get into that separately um, um, in another video. And then above that would be more like your executive protection guys, guys that are with VIPs, which where I work, there are executive protection guys that are with the CEO of the company, and they go everywhere the CEO goes, plain clothes but armed. And then you have your tactical type security guys that are basically SWAT guys for hire. So as you can see, it's tiered. It's based on the client. You know, here in Michigan, we have a place uh, about an hour from here, and they make bio stuff. I don't want to say bio weapons, but they have biological something. Well, they got a freaking SWAT team that guards that place. They're private military guy, or I'm sorry, private security guys. You know, they're not cops, they're not military, but they're for that place. But I promise you that if you try to get in there, you're going to feel like you've just encountered the military. So again, now with companies, you got security companies that guard nuclear power plants that are doing prison work, that are doing transportation work. So there's a wide array. So if you want to be a security guard, first you need to figure out what type of security you want to do, what kind of training you need. Some of these jobs, it behoove you to have some kind of training and experience before you get into it. Some of them, they'll train you and do all that stuff once they get you in the door. Security is really attractive to veterans. Security. So with me, I started security. My very first security job was right before I went in the Army. And, you know, I was sitting at a construction site making rounds every hour. I never had any problems, never saw anybody. And I think I was at a car dealership at night. I sat like on a showroom floor or something. This was over by Washington, D.C. And I had that job for, I don't know, 6 or 7 months while I was trying to get in the Army. And then obviously, once I went in the Army, I was gone. And then the very first job that I got when I got out of the Army was armed security. And I did that for a year and a half while I was applying for the Department of Corrections. So then my security career kind of went off on a tangent working in a prison, which is still security, but obviously with a different mission. But while with the Department of Corrections, was able to do a lot of neat stuff. I was on their emergency response team, so I got to do a lot of tactical stuff. I mean, it's a tactical team. We train with a lot of tactical teams from all over, really. And then left that, got into the fitness thing. As those of you who know me, I did that for a long time, and I got back into security. And so now, with where I'm at now, I'm working with guys that, you know, like I was in corrections for a long time. I'm working with guys that were police officers for a long time, whether it be city, county. There's a guy working with us that was a state trooper. So kind of a little mixed bag, but mostly law enforcement guys. And of course, I'm working with guys that all they've ever done is security, and that's fine too. So the kind of people that are usually attracted to security work are people that are looking to go into law enforcement. So it's a stepping stone. There's plenty of guys I work with that have active applications in with law enforcement agencies. And then on the back end, I'm working with guys, like I said, who've retired from a law enforcement agency, and they're working part time for some play money or whatever. And it's easy because they know it inside and out. So the other thing you want to think about, if you want to work security, now this is not a requirement, but this is something you want to think about is, you know, I'm going to talk about it, fitness, your physical fitness. Yeah, 99.9% of the time, you're going to work some security job somewhere. You're going to be bored out of your mind, which is good when you're in that type of work. Boredom is a good thing. But there's also going to be that time where you may have to defend yourself or defend someone else against the threatening actions of another person. And if you are not fit, if you are not in shape, you're going to have a hard time with that. So that's something to think about. Not saying you got to go out and do the Navy SEAL PT test and become, you know, a CrossFit guy or something like that, but it definitely helps. Now, one thing that I started doing very recently, I've been doing it about a month now, is Krav Maga. And I remember years ago, this guy I know in another town was trying to get me to do it, and I'm like, nah, because I was hardcore into the bodybuilding stuff at the time, and it just didn't appeal to me. And in the Department of Corrections, we do some stuff, PPCT, which is what everybody does. I'll be doing that actually this next week. Um, but I decided that I want to kind of, have another tool in the toolbox. Again, the chances of me getting in a fight, they are higher where I'm at now than where I was working a couple months ago before when I first got back into the field. But you just don't want to get caught with your pants down. Again, I carry a gun, but a gun isn't the answer to everything. A gun is a last resort. So you need something kind of in between verbal commands. Hey man, stop doing that. To using deadly force. There's a whole lot of stuff in between, and if you don't have those tools, you may make the wrong decision. And I'll talk about some instances where people have been shot. I'm going to reference some police videos and some other videos where people have used deadly force, and we'll talk about whether it was right or wrong or whatever. Hindsight's always 2020. And we're going to also talk about some other use of force issues with security guards, more hands-on type stuff as far as not using a firearm, but just using skills or lack thereof. So again, guys, um, security is big business, especially since 9/11. And I don't know how it is in your city, but in downtown Detroit, I mean, you can't hardly walk a block without seeing an armed security guard walking somewhere, or they're on a bike, or they're in a vehicle. It's just big business, so you might as well capitalize on it. Now, being a foot soldier coming in at the bottom of any company, you're not going to make top pay. You're definitely not going to make the kind of pay that somebody going into a police academy is making. I mean, we all got to start somewhere. But the key is, especially if you're young, you're single, you don't have a family, you don't have time's not an issue. You get in and you might be making $10 or $12 an hour, but you have the ability to work overtime, and do that and get your foot in the door that way, and then start looking to see where you might take your career to the next level. All right, everybody. So that's all I got for today. I will be trying to do videos about once a week. Please like and share, especially if you know somebody who is in the security field, or you yourself are in the security field. If you guys got questions about corrections, I'm fairly knowledgeable. I did that for 12 years, and I was a lieutenant when I left. I've been gone for a while, but I'm still up on what's going on with that. Um, I think that's about it. All right, everybody. I'll talk to you real soon. And if you're on post out there, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.